Hi, this is A. Wesley. That ain't even tells it like a TI is. If you like my video, please give it a thumbs up and consider subscribing. Topic I'm going to talk to you today about is Married to Medicine, Season 10, Episode 3 and 4. I'm just going to give a brief summary of what happened in 3 and 4. Um, it started off with Toya on the phone talking to Sweet Tea, which is Gregory's new wife, about her bachelorette party that she's throwing for her, and she also told her that Eugene and Cecil is throwing a bachelor party for Dr. Greg, and they were talking about that, and they were happy about that, and then the next point. I'm kind of glad that Toya is a friend to what you call, because it seems like Heavenly and Dr. Jackie. I'm surprised at some of the antics Dr. Jackie has been attributing so far with these ladies. I mean, she's never been this. I don't know what you would call it, uppity or standoffish or whatever you want to call it. But anyway, back to the show. Dr. Jackie and Simone had having lunch outside, and they talk about what happened at the what happened at the at the what happened at the party that they had, the engagement party, and she was telling her that she had that she was telling her about that she had a patient, and the patient was sick, but after she tested the patient, she said the patient actually had STD. They call it something else today. I think they call it STI today. But anyway, it's the same thing we used to talk about back in the 90s. So I'm kind of old school. But anyway, after that, then her and Dr. Jackie got to talking about the party, and Dr. Jackie was saying, well, the way she acted at the party, and Simone said, well, the girl was kind of overwhelmed. She was kind of overwhelmed, and she was kind of overwhelmed, and stuff to what happened. And then Quad brought the yeah, Quad brought. Phaedra brought Quad to the girls and to the girls' engagement party, and so she had a lot going on. And then so after that, they showed Heavenly meeting up with T, and Heavenly was putting on this fake concern, like she was concerned about T, and all she was doing was getting T drunk, so she could get information out of T. I really didn't like that, because they've been saying on their Instagram lives after the show, and even T said it herself, that Heavenly encouraged her to come on the show and stuff like that. And so it's like Heavenly is playing both ends against the middle, and I don't like that. And she had that girl getting all drunk, and she didn't drink nothing. And then behind the scenes, it said she didn't drink nothing but water. And I didn't like the way she was doing T, and T was telling her that and on some aspects, she thought Greg was kind of controlling. But then when Greg what she said, the reason why she said that, because she had forgot to turn on the alarm, and Greg was telling her that what if somebody would have broke in the house, and stuff like that, because she said on one of her own live in an interview that she didn't think nothing about it, but Greg was warning her that it had been a lot of robberies going on in Atlanta, and so he was kind of concerned about her since somebody had broken into her car. But Heavenly was just trying to get information out of her. And then on another note, after that, um, after that part, after that part, I think it was just Cecil and Simone trying to have lunch with their sons, and trying to tell them that they need to straighten up, and telling Miles that actually them houses grades, and Miles grades was a C, and she said she ain't never got a C in class, and so it was like she was telling them they need to grow up. And Cecil was saying, well, maybe if they helped them out a little bit, and like she was saying in her confessional, they had helped those boys out so much. Miles is 24, and I think Michael is like 20. But Miles, the oldest one, is the one that's being more irresponsible. He wants them he said he'd go back to school after a while, but he wants to try to get into trying to get into movie filming and stuff like that. And so he wants Simone to kind of pay for him an apartment if she don't want him to come back to the house, because she really don't want him to come back to the house. And so that was that on that. And then the part about Dr. Heavenly trying to talk her daughter out of going to FAMU and stuff like that. Like I said, Dr. Heavenly need to go ahead on and let that girl live her life for herself, and try to go ahead on her and dad. They tell me they want the girl to be close to them, but like she was saying, they went away to college, and then her brothers went away to college. What's the problem with her going away to college? They try to bring up every excuse in the book, like the internet and the outernet and all this social media stuff going on. I mean, even though we didn't have social media back then, we still had stuff that was going on. So Heavenly and Dr. Damon need to get over that. And the only other part that was good is when everybody showed up for T's bachelorette party, and Toya was throwing it, and they had the sexy, like the grown and sexy bachelorette party and stuff. Everybody had to wear the sexy underwear and stuff, and it was good. Toya was overseeing the strippers to see how good and how built they were looking. Everybody was greeting each other, being happy and stuff like that. And so, so they asked T how's everything going, and T was saying, well, she didn't like the fact that they kept on talking about a quad at the bachelorette party, and then after that, she got a call from her wedding planner saying she owed 13, 14 more $1,000, and she got mad. Her sister was trying to comfort her. She said, "Get away from me, get away from me. We already paid all this stuff." And she got to jumping up and whooping and hollering and crying and stuff. And so Phaedra ran after her, and then Simone ran after her, and she was just saying she was just so overwhelmed. Sweet Tea saying she was just so overwhelmed by everything that was going on. And then Simone told her she was gonna be all right. Everybody go through stuff with their marriage. She said everybody get a little Brazilian in them. And then while she was doing that, Phaedra was on the phone calling Dr. Greg, telling Dr. Greg what had happened. And Dr. Greg was looking kind of funny. But Dr. Greg did say on one of those lives that he was there, but he was in the background. And he started to come up, but then he thought about it. He came back. He looked at they got it when she came back on the scene. And when she came back on the scene, she had calmed down and stuff like that, and she got to talking, and they were laughing and drinking, and so Toya was getting ready to toast to tea when Phaedra came around with Quad, and Toya said, "Who invited her?" And she said, "She not invited. Why she here?" And then Quad said, Toya said, "Well, I invited Quad. Said, "Why you invited Quad to this girl's birthday party?" And then Sweet Tea said, "You come over here and sit by me, Quad." And she being nice to Quad and hugging Quad. And then so Toya said, "What? Is this what happening? You just got through telling us at your engagement party, but you was tired of us talking about Quad, and now here you is over here trying to be all lovey-dovey with Quad." And she said, "Quad, you need to leave." And she said, "Do I need to leave, T?" And then T said, "Well, this is my bachelorette party." And Toy said, "No, this is my bachelorette party that I'm throwing for you." And so she said, "Well, Quad, I think it'll be best if you leave." And Quad said, "Okay, since you want me to leave, T, I'm gonna leave." And Quad said hello, goodbye, and went out. The rest of the part was just about the men having their bachelor party and strippers on, so that wasn't really too much to me. On to part four. Part four was still good. They had Jackie Jackie and Heavenly show up at Phaedra's house, and they all got to talking and saying how pretty Phaedra's house was and stuff like that. And then Dr. Jackie said when they was by themselves, her and Heavenly, she said, "Well, it's all right, but it's kind of gaudy for me." And Heavenly talking, "Yeah, it's all right, but some of these rooms, she do got too much stuff in." And then they asked her, "How you doing?" She said, "I'm doing all right. Y'all want some tea or whatever?" So she gave them tea and got some small. She said, "What do you?" And Heavenly said, "What do you think about what happened at the bachelorette party and stuff. And she said, well, she said it was good at first, and she said, well, and then Jack said, do you think you did the right thing by inviting Quad to the bachelorette party? She said, I stand on that. I did invite Quad because Quad brought some kind of energy to the thing. She changed the thing. Dr. Jack said, yeah, she brought some energy in the thing. She brought some bad energy, and then it went back to the next scene. And then the next scene after that, I think was the next scene after that is when they let me pause it for a minute. Heavenly said, I'm just saying, do you think she gonna be ready for marriage the way she was acting? And then Phaedra said, who among us have never had a day where we were stuff? She said she been overwhelmed by planning the wedding and stuff. All of us have had a day like that. All of us had one time or another bring a Brazilla or the day before their wedding. And then Dr. Jack said, well, I just look at it like this. I just want Dr. Greg to be happy. And she said, well, Dr. Greg told me that T has made them the happiest woman of his life. So if Dr. Greg is happy, I'm happy too. That's what Phaedra said. And then switched to the next scene. And the next scene was Cecil in the kitchen talking to his son Miles, and he was telling Miles what he planned on doing. For the next year because the spring break is almost over with. So what he planned on doing in the fall, and he was saying, well, like I said, I was gonna move back home with us, but I won't move back home with y'all, but you and mom say y'all don't want me here. He said, but what? He said, what you planning on doing? I mean, what you planning on doing? Are you planning on going back to school or what? Or getting a job or what? He said, well, like I said, I want to do stuff. I want to do stuff in films. But what is, if you and mom pay for me to have an apartment so I can't stay here? He said, well, we'll do that. And then Simone came downstairs and she said, you know what? She said, you know what, Miles, I'm gonna do it like this. I'm gonna give you, I'm gonna pay your rent up for you for 1 year. And then after that 1 year, you gotta show me that either you going back to school or you getting a job or you doing something. He said, but Dad said that y'all gonna help me out. She said in a confessional, she said, me and your dad, we have two different ways of raising kids, of bringing up kids. She said your dad was used to staying at home with his mom, and she said I'm not. I was on my own and getting out on my own and working. And she said I'm gonna give you. She said I'm gonna give you a year, and I'm gonna give Michael 2 years to get himself together and stuff like that. And so I switched to the next scene, and then the next scene was the next scene was the next scene was Sweet Tea and Dr. Greg going to see they wedding venue, and they both liked it, the wedding venue, and they both liked it how it looked, and they both said it was very beautiful and stuff. And then T went into the reception room, and they were already rehearsing, and so they went to meet Dr. Greg went to meet T's mom and dad, and he was glad they was there. And they put a picture up on the screen was showing where what T's dad and Dr. Gregory was the same age, and somebody said, "Ooh, T dad looks similar to Dr. Gregory," and they put their pictures side by side, and their family was all looking. And then so right before they went and right before they went into the reception hall, T was asking him about his bachelorette party, and he said the bachelorette party was okay and stuff like that. She said, "What happened?" He said, "I told you it was good. It was okay." She said, "I heard." She said, "I heard y'all had a wild time down there. Wild time. It was kind of raunchy." He said, "I told you it was good. It was good." And then she said, "Well," she said, "What about you? What happened to you with your bachelorette party?" She said, "Well, my bachelorette party was okay. It was good." She said, "But Phaedra brought Quad there." He said, "What?" Phaedra brought Quad there. He said, "Why she bring Quad?" Dr. G said, "Why she bring Quad? I don't want you hanging around Quad." And she said, "Well, I'm just saying she brought Quad." And so they went back in the reception area and they got to rehearsing again and stuff. And so, Dr. Greg said, well, I gotta step out for a minute, T. I'll come back and meet and greet some more people. So they had a lot of people coming in and stuff. And so he went outside. He made a phone call. He said, Phaedra, uh, I want to talk to you about something. She said, what is, Dr. Greg? I'm almost getting ready. I'm almost ready. He said, yeah, I just want to say a little something before you get ready to come in. He said, why don't you invite Coy to T's bachelorette party? And she said, well, I thought she should be able to come and stuff, to meet her and see how she doing and stuff, but he said, well, I don't want her around. I want her around her face. You should have did it. You did. She said, well, Greg, I didn't think it was nothing wrong with it. I just thought that, they should meet one another and talk and all that stuff. He said, okay, Phaedra, but don't do it again. And then he hung up the phone. And then after he hung up the phone, they went back in the room. And then they went back in the room, and the guests started arriving, and all the guests, it was Dr. Jackie, and she came by herself. She had on a nice black dress. And then after that, they had Toya and Eugene coming, and then after that they had the new girl Alicia and her husband coming, and then Toya and Eugene was on their way into the venue, and that's when they spotted Heavenly and Damon. They said, what's going on? What's going on? And she said, we drove all the way out here. We could have been at Aurora's thing, some kind of graduation thing Aurora was having. We could have been there at the Aurora's prom thing, and we over here, we can't even get in. And said, well, I can't get in. They claimed our name wasn't on the list. Our name on the list. And then Toya said, well, it must have been a mistake. Y'all check it again. So they went and checked it again. And then he went back in his thing. And then everybody looked at, ooh, that's that Johnny boy. That's that boy that tried to sue Candy. So he was their wedding planner. And then he came back around. He said, well, and actuality, you was on the list, but then your name was taken out. So why my name was taken off the list? He said they didn't want you here. And then Eugene said, well, this is your birthday, Toya. We need to come on. She said, we need to come on, let them handle it. So they went on up in there and let them handle themselves. And then after that, they let Heavenly snuck in, and then they had a beautiful wedding. T looked so pretty in that wedding dress, and Dr. Greg looked good in that wedding dress. They had their wedding vows, and then it was like after the wedding, Heavenly came over there and said, T, I'm sorry for what I said, what I made you be, but girl, you made me mad, not letting me in. I could let everybody know production was gonna let Heavenly in, and they got the dancing at the end, and the show went off. Like I say, season 10 has been the best season of late. 1 through 8 was good. 9 was so, but it's like 10 is pulling out all the stops. And so that's all I have for this video. This is Abe Wesley. That ain't who tells it like the T.I. is. I am out.